but there's definitely nuanced flavors in here and aromas that when you pick up on them, a light bulb goes off and you're like, oh yeah, there it is. I get it. I get it now why people like peated whiskeys so much. But I also understand how people can absolutely hate them and will never like them. It is definitely an acquired taste. Welcome to Whiskey is a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano, and in today's journey, we are going to head out of Buffalo Trace Distillery, get out of Kentucky, go across the Atlantic, and we are going to start our journey with single malt scotches, specifically aged stated single malt scotches. So let me go ahead and clear this out of here, and we'll get this going with the Wee Beastie Ardbeg 5-year-old single malt scotch. All right, so with all that out of the way, Ardbeg Wee Beastie is coming in at an age statement of 5 years. This is an Islay peated whiskey. The ABV is 47.4. It is non-chill filtered. It is natural color. And in Phoenix, Arizona, this is coming in at $52.99. So let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, and talk about it. Oh, right off the bat, the peat just hit my nose. Because it's a peated whiskey, it's going to come across as smoky, but there's definitely levels of smoke that I'm getting between Ardbeg, Lefroy, Kalila, and any of the other, Port Charlotte, any of the other peated whiskeys. There's definitely a level and a difference in the peat aromas and flavors and all of that other stuff. So we'll get into that a little bit later. Immediately on the nose, I get hit with a barbecue smoke, not an iodine, not a Band-Aid, not a medicinal. It's more of a barbecue smoke. And because it's so strong, it might put people off. This is not something I started out liking. This is something that definitely took me a while for my palate to get used to. The initial nosing is nothing but smoke, barbecue smoke. And searching a little bit more on the back end, there definitely is a sweetness, a fruity sweetness, a dark fruit sweetness. I get a little bit of pepper as well, so the spice is there. Let's go with the initial taste. That's thick with smoke, and that is definitely barbecued meat, burnt ends. The crispy ends of the meat when you're smoking it, when you have barbecue sauce over the top of it, and the barbecue sauce also adheres and burns to the meat, it might sound off-putting, but it's not. This is definitely an acquired taste. And like I had mentioned earlier, this took me a while to build up to acclimating myself to peated whiskeys. I didn't like them at the beginning. Let me go ahead and get a second taste here. Heavy peat, heavy smoke, heavy barbecue. This is meaty. This is burnt sugar on meat. That's where the sweetness comes in. A little bit salty, a little bit peppery. This is a backyard barbecue. Not a starter whiskey by any stretch of the imagination, but some people, surprisingly, go right into this and enjoy it straight off the bat. It took me quite a while to get into the peated whiskeys. I started my journey back in January of 2022. I did a whole bunch of Speyside single malts, some bourbons, some Japanese whiskeys, single pot still Irish. And about 3 weeks into my journey, I tasted Highland Park, the Viking Honor. And the Highland Park has very little smoke to it, and I did not like it at all. And I tasted the Kalila 12 a couple of months into my journey, and it was a completely different experience. It's almost like my palate wanted to be tested after a couple of months into my journey, and I was pleasantly surprised. And the longer this is open, the less peat I'm getting. Either I'm acclimating to it, or this actually does open up, and you're left with more of the sweetness and the barbecue sauce, molasses sweetness to the whiskey rather than the peat smoke. It's still there. Don't get me wrong. It's still there. It's just subdued a little bit more. Let's go ahead and put some water in this like I do with everything else. Before I move on, just to let everybody know, I'm changing the format of the channel. I'm going to start to upload every Monday from my long format. Wednesdays, I'm going to introduce a segment called Sip It or Skip It. And then on Fridays, I'm going to do blind tastings. So I'm going to try to up my production on the channel 3 days a week. I do believe that I am whiskey promiscuous. I don't have a favor for bourbon over single malt or through single pot still whiskeys. And I want to bring my collection to you guys and talk about it in a little bit different way. So all of my bourbon fans that were here during my series on the Buffalo Trace Distillery, don't go anywhere. Stick around because there's a lot more to come. All right, with that being said, the water tamped down and diminished the smoke even more. It's still there, but now I get more of a briny, salty, peppery sweetness rather than the overwhelming smoke. Definitely smoke is lowered. I get more of a seaside, salty, briny. There's more sweet than smoke now, but there's still smoke. Don't get me wrong, there's still smoke. There's always smoke here. Just the level of it has lowered. I do get the molasses, burnt sugar on the meat, salty and peppery. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Definitely an acquired taste, but this is biting into a liquid smoked meat. That's the best way I can explain this. This is a strong, in-your-face type single malt, peated single malt. There's no other way to describe it other than it's bold, it's powerful, it's strong, it's going to be an acquired taste, and I have learned to enjoy and appreciate the complexity of it. You have to be able to get past the smokiness, the peatiness, to be able to get to the behind-the-scenes flavors, the sweetness, the briny, the salt, the pepper. But once you get to the point where you're able to do that, and it took me quite a while, and I still struggle with it quite a bit, but there's definitely nuanced flavors in here and aromas that when you pick up on them, a light bulb goes off and you're like, oh yeah, there it is. I get it. I get it now why people like peated whiskeys so much. But I also understand how people can absolutely hate them and will never like them. It is definitely an acquired taste. All right, let's do one last sip and then we'll get into the rating. Backyard barbecue. I like it quite a bit. My rating's out of 5 stars with the 5-year Wee Beastie coming in at $52.99. I'm going to give this 4.95. No, I'm going to give this 4. I do like this. Compared to the other peated whiskeys, this offers something a little bit different. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's almost like 2 different whiskeys. You get the peated side of it, the peat goes away, and then you get the intense, sweet, salty, barbecue, molasses, sugary side to it. I'm going to give this a 4. What do you guys think? Are you a fan of peated whiskeys? Let me know down in the comments down below. All right, that's where I'm going to leave it today. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. Turn on that bell notification so when I go live with my next series of videos, you'll be notified. If you are interested in contributing to the conversation, post some comments down below. If you know anybody that's in the whiskey world that would be interested in this content, share it with them. And with that being said, enjoy your journey. I'll see everybody next time. Bye.